All right. Let's talk about kind of how to study for flying the landing pattern real quick. All right. And just not just a landing pattern, just how to study here at primary in general. Okay. So here in primary, right, we have a number of different publications, right? We got what? NATOPS?
Sir?
What are some other ones?
We got the FWOP,
FWOP,
FTI.
FTI. Anything else?
We got the FAR and AIM.
Yeah, FAR, AIM. We don't really look at that as much. You can. Anything else?
Let's see. We got,
How about your in-flight guide?
Yes, sir. In-flight guide.
Okay. Anything else?
Pocket checklist come
Yeah.
with
Pocket checklist, sure. But also, checklist, pocket checklist. Let's just say checklist, right?
that? Sir.
Okay, cool. So we got all this stuff we have to grab information from, right? You agree for every flight?
Yes, sir.
And every flight we do, we have our discuss items, right?
Yes, sir.
And we have flight maneuvers, right?
Yes, sir.
And you'd agree, because you've done a number of briefs now, that the discuss items are in the flight, right?
Yes, sir.
Where do the grades come from?
From the maneuvers.
Flight maneuvers, right? So how in the world do we study all this stuff to get the best grades in the shortest amount of time?
Life-size chunks, sir.
Well, we want to become competent pilots, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So we already know we got all these different pubs, right? So I like to use an acronym called COMP to become a competent pilot, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we need to centralize our information, right? So we're going to look at each discuss item in the JPPT, look at each flight maneuver in the JPPT, and we're going to take that information from the NATOPS, the FWOP, the FTI, in-flight guide, all these things, even checklist, and centralize that information into one place. And I would suggest it be your notebook, like you're doing right now. So centralize. Hey, that's all great. I got it in one place, but did you write the FTI?
No, sir.
Did you write the NATOPS?
No, sir.
Neither did I, right? So the next thing we need to do is organize. Because I speak Griff, you speak Tyson. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
We speak English, but we don't necessarily understand that English language all exactly the same because we had different life experiences growing up. So when you organize that information, you need to put that stuff in your own words, okay? Put it in your own words, but let's even go a step further when we organize, okay? If you notice in the checklist, the FTI, they'll use some memory aids to help you, right? Like the 3 C's for flying an airplane, configuration, checklist, clearing terms, right? To power on stall or any of those flight maneuvers, right? 4 C's, clear, climb, click, call for departing out of whiting. We made up a mnemonic for the landing pattern, power, pitch, trim, turn, talk. Okay? So not only is it important to put the stuff in your own words so you can readily remember it, but even more so to create, they call it mnemonics, memory aids to easily recall that information. Because, well, when you were in college, right, how long did you have to get an answer right on the test?
Almost more time than I needed.
Yeah, I mean, you had maybe an hour, hour and a half, 50 minutes, depending on how long the period was, right? How much time do we have to get the answer right in the plane?
Not too much.
Seconds, right?
Yes,
I'd agree. So if we can organize that information into something we can readily recall, well, it doesn't take much brain power, therefore I can quickly use it. Make sense? Well, obviously after that, just like a test in college, we got to memorize the stuff, right? Memorize, regurgitate. Well, again, if I'm in college, I can kind of know the material, right? Oh yeah, I think I read that in a book or something like that, right? Do I have that option in the airplane?
Yes, sir.
No, why not?
Because you need to do it right or else something bad can happen.
Right, something bad can happen if I don't get it right, and also by the way, I need it now. So just kind of generally knowing the knowledge isn't enough, right? So you obviously got to memorize it and memorize it well, right? I got a question for you. You ever play any sports growing up?
Yes, sir.
What'd you play?
Baseball and football.
Baseball. All right, what position in baseball?
Catcher.
Catcher? Okay. You could read a book all about playing catcher, right? Never hadn't played before in your life. You could read a book all about doing it and you do great at it, right?
Yes, sir.
Get out there and do it great on the field. Never played.
Probably not play it
Dude,
well.
you read the book, right?
Sir.
So, what did you have to do then to be good at catcher?
Practice.
Oh, you had to practice, huh? Oh, okay. So do you think you can do that in an airplane?
Other than going up there and working on it with an IP, you can chair fly.
Yeah, you say chair fly, right? That's great. Well, when you're flying in a plane, you're sitting in a chair. Is the plane sitting in a chair? Oh, so what is the plane always doing?
Moving.
Moving forward in time and space and all the time, right? So if the plane is moving forward in time and space all the time, what should you be doing as you're practicing?
Moving forward in time and space.
Moving forward. How do we do that?
Ride a bike, you can run, drive. I wouldn't recommend driving a car, but
Well, why don't you just walk the pattern? You know what I mean? Just make it easy. Why don't we walk as if we're flying the landing pattern? Or as if we're flying a PEL? Or as if we're flying course rules? I mean, we're still moving forward in time and space. Okay? So we have to practice. And why is that important? Because now am I not only using the information that I memorized and I'm practicing, but I'm practicing in the very same way that I fly. Because am I making a decision just sitting at a desk? Or, I mean, I might be sitting in a chair, but is the plane? No. The plane's moving forward in time and space. And the plane is going to constantly be changing altitudes and airspeeds and stuff of that nature. And we need to know how to manipulate those controls in doing that. Which makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions on basically what it takes? As you can see in college, we just did the first three. Hey, I centralized the information, organized, and memorized. Hey, I was done. Oh, got it on a test, cool. Memorized, grid shape, throw it away, right? But can we afford to do that here?
No, sir.
No, right? And so the biggest thing we need to do is practice. Do I need to be in an airplane to practice?
No, sir.
No, and odds are we're not going to have the opportunity to always be in the airplane. We can practice on the ground by walk, flying, and going through the, going through the motions. When I say we're going through the motions, right, when you played a sport, why is it that you had to practice, and what was the difference between that and just memorizing stuff? What were you doing with your body?
Excuse me. You're moving around. You're getting that muscle memory.
Ah, we're creating muscle memory. So as you walk your pattern or you're doing anything, it's also important for you to use muscle memory. Hey, I'm high, I'm low, I'm fast or slow at these different points in my pattern. You need to also be physically moving your hands. Because unless you're Yoda again, you can just wheel the plane around a pattern, right? You got to move these guys to make it happen, right? It's no different from being catcher or when you're up to bat in baseball or whatever. You got to obviously make that a reaction. And we already talked about, right, hey, how much time do you have to make a decision in a plane? You have very little versus time to make the right answer in college, quite a bit. And we already determined that what's faster, a thought process or a reaction?
Reaction.
Reaction, right? Reaction's faster than a thought process. So any questions on this stuff here?
Yes, sir.
So as you go out now and you practice your PEL, your PELPs, your course rules, your landing pattern, you need to walk, fly, all that stuff. It can be in your backyard, it can be in a parking lot, it can be in your living room. Who knows? Who cares? Making all the comm calls that come with it, right? Because there's a lot of comm calls that go with that as well. All right, cool. Any questions on that?
No, sir.
Sounds good.